Rightio. Another day. No warm up. It's one of those things I think sometimes when you look at life and wonder, looking back, how all the dots connect. And you think, wow, I did this thing so many times. I repeated this thing so many times. I've done it over and over again and again. Yet in the moment, you kind of wonder like, why am I doing this? Oh, another day. Oh, another warm up, another workout. Whatever. Well, just think of yourself in the future, looking back in the past, and that past being this present moment. And just going, yeah, it was pretty easy. Yeah, no problems. That's what I did. That's what I do. Been doing it ever since, whatever it may be. There's a lot of, spirituality is different to everyone, but a lot of spiritual thoughts and thinkers seem to really believe in living in the moment, being in the present. And as much as the more spiritual people can probably tell you in greater depth than what I ever will, there's aspects and variations and angles that you need to look at things that really determine what you'll believe and what you'll see. And what I mean by that is, if you think about the present, being alive in the present is different than thinking and being in the present spiritually with your consciousness. I'm alive in this present moment right now, dealing with X, Y, and Z and 1, 2, 3. But being in the present moment right now is kind of escaping those things and quietening those down. I explained in the last video that it's kind of like leaves floating by on a river. You just let them go by. You don't have to attach yourself to each one of those leaves or each one of those thoughts or each one of those moments that are happening for you personally in your life as you look at it through your video game. So essentially, being in the present moment doesn't always mean just where I am right here, right now. I can put myself in the future, I can put myself in the past in this present moment. Does it take away from being in this present moment? No, it just takes away from my ability to be able to see what's in this present moment. If I'm attaching myself to one little red leaf, so to speak, on the river as it's going by, and I'm focusing on my attention on it because it's pretty, it's different size, whatever it may be, I'm not seeing all the others. Whereas if I took a little bit of a zoom out and look at all the leaves at once, I can sort of quickly focus on some, but I see them all. And I think life sometimes is like that. We sometimes try and zoom out and see too many things, when you could actually just go in and focus a little bit more. You could zoom in a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying zoom in and concentrate all of your efforts on that one red leaf, although for a small period of time that might be what you need to do. But having that consciousness, that level of thinking, that level of understanding, to be sort of looking, they talk about second person, third person. Try thinking fourth or fifth person. Recognizing that you're recognizing. Know that you know. This type of stuff. The cost of not doing this, I don't want to say exercise, but these movements and this health consciousness far outweighs almost anything else in the end. Since I'm talking about looking back into the present from the future and realizing that it just wasn't that bad, it just wasn't that hard, I could have done more actually, is how I feel about back then, now. So in the future, back then will be now, and that will more than likely be how I'll feel then too. I could have done more. I should have done more. Now, if you know that, which is a level of understanding and consciousness that is beyond third person, then at that point, you've got to be able to say, look, well, I can do that more now. At least I'll know that I've leveled up at least one or two little spots. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's anything, drastically close to perfection, but I'm at least leveling up one than the other. So I decided to do that myself a while back when I dedicated my life to health, just like others dedicate their lives to, other things. spirituality based, physically based, educationally based. I did my health, using myself as a subject, but not going into this world too tentatively and not doing things. Hell, I got a million injuries, handful of surgeries, parts of me that don't exist anymore. Inside my knees, I have no ACLs and PCLs. Apparently, they tried to go in there and repair them and found that there wasn't any there, or there wasn't enough there to do anything with. So it's just part of life, doing stuff. Now I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. That means my passions and my love, basketball and volleyball, are no longer options for me. I get to watch them on TV every once in a while, but even that frustrates me, so I don't. So technically speaking, I've had to go in and say, look, we're going to put my focus and my energy into, and gym is one of those things. I've been able to get through a few little niggles and injuries. I've been able to get by with the knees still, technically functioning. I'm not able to do the big heavy stuff, leg sessions and squats and stuff everybody's asking for. I can't do those. I'm not that guy for you. I don't believe in squat personally, not to the power that people do. So I wouldn't be doing those regardless, even if I could. Bodyweight squats or something is fine. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the big leg movement. Everybody's into big squats. Who can squat and deadlift and that's not really. There's definitely a place for that, and I admire those who can do those things. I just can't, so I stay away from them. But anyway, the perspective I'm trying to get to is that it's not that you can't afford, well, it is. It's not that the cost of exercising, moving, putting some sort of physical importance to your physical body, to your life and to movement and stuff. It's not that cost is too much. There is no cost. In fact, there's a lot more of a cost on the back end. What are you losing out on the other end? That I think is more important. It's just that you don't think you can afford it. Things don't just cost too much. You just can't afford that cost. A Ferrari doesn't cost too much. I just can't afford one. A million people have Ferraris. They can afford it. Now, if I put my mindset on, I'll never be able to afford it, I can't afford it, then of course it's going to cost too much because I'll never be able to afford it. In health, in what I call health investing, I consider myself a health investor. I'm doing the work now so I can reap the rewards later. Most people want to be in the moment right here, right now. They want Bitcoin to go up today, double, triple, I made my money and then cash out. They want quick fix, I'm kind of investing in the way where I'm wanting Bitcoin to be whatever it's going to be, but in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I'm not in Bitcoin, so please don't start harassing me. But just trying to use that reference so you understand it's an investment. I'm investing in myself. I know that every hour in the gym is an extra hour added at the end. Whether that be true or not, I know it to be true for me. So it's an existence and a truth in my world, in my video game. I set the rules. And I believe that. So the good news to that is if it works, it'll freaking work, and awesome. I will put it in work and I can sit on the porch and watch the kids and the grandkids do what they do. Out on a farm in the middle of somewhere, more than likely not in the shady western country. And then I'll be able to just live life beautifully, looking back at these moments, these videos, if they're even still around, possibly even watching them. But ultimately, if they don't exist, if these moments that I'm putting in now don't add up at the end, because I'll be dead, I won't know. Death is not something I'm afraid of or scared of or think that is bad or negative at all. In order to die, you must first have lived, and you were very, very lucky to have had that opportunity. If you're able to do it able-bodied, mentally cognizant, and have a happy moment in your life, not the whole life, but a moment or two, then you've done a really good job. There's a lot of people out here that are struggling with what they go through, haven't quite figured it out, don't have the keys to the rooms. They can't really walk through the mansion that I believe is in their minds. And that existence offers them. But that's another day, another topic. I wanted to put in here that part that just because you can, the cost, you think the cost is too high, doesn't mean anything. You can afford whatever you wish to try and do. I can save enough money slowly enough to buy myself a Ferrari. And if it was a priority of mine, then hell, maybe I would have already had one by now. So my investment, my world, my existence, my importance, my values are in health. Without my health, I don't really have anything else. I can't be a good boyfriend, husband, father, friend, uncle, son. I can't be any of those things without my health. Those things are important to me. Although I am not half of those things yet, they still have to be planned on. They still have to be invested in. And this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to share with you guys my thoughts, how my brain works, what I think. I'm often wrong. I often adjust. I often evolve through these chats with people, with you guys, on camera and off camera, actually. And this is kind of the purpose of these things. Just throwing ideas out, letting you know where I think, how I think, and if that helps spark something in one of you, then the job is done. Backwards walking saves my knees. It's catching a little bit of, momentum, as far as I see some people, some trainers and some friends doing it, which is fantastic. It's not anything new. Been around for a couple of decades. It's been brought back to life a few times by a couple of people in the last 5 to 10 years. It's catching a little trend now, which I think is fantastic. I've personally been doing it about 2.5 years. Different variations. The only variation I haven't done is with a moving treadmill. That is absolutely pointless in my opinion, but it may be a good start for you guys who can't quite push the belt on your own, or you don't have a machine. Sometimes some of these machines are quite tough to push. They can be quite hard. Not gonna lie. Some of them are almost immovable. So there are variations of treadmills. They're not all the same. So be aware of that. But anyway, off track again, as I often do. I just wanted to make sure I tap into you guys understanding the cost on the back end of the work you're doing now. Being able to reflect backwards, but projecting that from the future means putting a little emphasis on what it is that we're doing now. It has become who I am to train and exercise. So when I'm congratulated for being consistent by the lady at the front desk, or the owner of the gym, or the person you see in here every day who's also doing the same thing, that's not really a congratulations in I'm accomplishing something that's needing any validation or effort. It's just who I am. If someone says something about, oh my God, you look like da-da-da, whatever, physical compliments, thanks. That's just normal, man. Like, that's just normal. In fact, I believe I could be in much better shape. I could be in much better physical shape. Not necessarily actual literal shape, but I mean like fitness level, health levels, that kind of stuff. Although I probably could be in better physical chiseled shape. It's always possible. But to me, I don't take those as compliments. I take them as just small little wins, small little ticks of the box, because it's part of who I am. I've been doing this physical stuff, not necessarily in every aspect, because I've gone through multiple different lives. As far as spirituality, I was into yoga and meditation and breathing and breath work for a few years while I was living in Southeast Asia. I tried some endurance sports. I tried some pure strength power sports. A whole bunch of different things, different mentalities, with a really, really cool set of mentors, friends, guides, coaches along the way. Maybe one day we'll get these people on here and share some cool stories. But It is about making sure that we stay consistent with who we are. And I am applying just like I am blue-eyed, blonde-haired, flat-nosed, 6'4". I am also a health investor. It doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter where I am, I will be somehow investing in my health till the day that I die, or that I cannot for some reason. So until then, I can live in this present moment with awareness of my future self, looking back at this moment and being proud that I'm doing what I'm doing, that in the moment I maybe didn't want to, didn't have the feeling to, didn't have the energy, had other things on my mind, other things to do, but I still did these things because they're a part of who I am. Some of the best coaches and mentors, life coaches, life mentors going around at the moment have all talked about this. I am not coaching you fitness. I'm coaching you lifestyle, mentality, mindset. That's where all the power is. I'm not doing the same thing. I'm coaching fitness. I'm coaching health investing across a couple of different little bits and pieces. Like the simple stuff I talk about or the free stuff I talk about. That's where it's at. You can invest a lot monetarily if you're at that level, if you can afford it, if it has enough value to you, sure. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying there's enough free tools and valuables that you can use to invest in your health. That you don't need to invest anything other than your commitment and your time into those things. They are free. This world has given them to us. They are here. That is the bulk and the majority of what I do. If there's monetarily a little bit there for you to use to get a little bit more of a head up and a boost on people, cool. That's fantastic. I've done some of those things myself, but I'm still going to stick to the very most basic, the core, the foundation, and the basics of being the free stuff. I'm here to help you recognize some of those things. I'm here to help you put investment into those things, and I'm here to make sure that everybody understands that there is absolutely nothing that you need to go and get these abs other than your decision to consciously make that part of you, who you are and what you do, and then the commitment to follow it through. I'm here to encourage. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to encourage. I'm here to coach. I'm here to mentor. But I'm not teaching you what I do. I'm telling you what I do as a result of having done it for years. It's on you to go out and do it. It's on you to decide and start making that choice and that decision for yourself. Right, I'm gonna go out there and do a bit of a workout. It's a little bit different today. I will explain once I get there. But I'll see you guys on the floor in a minute. Right, so just pulled out a 30-minute walk after that little reverse walking for however long that was. Had a little few bits and pieces on my phone to do, but I wanted to quickly mention that that's a very simple way for you guys to get started. If there's people out there that can't really or don't really have much time, I can understand that, being a little busy at times myself, at least in the past. But if you just think about the things that you do that you could do while you're walking, then especially on your phone or something, if you have access to your emails and all the bits and pieces you do on your phone, just put some shoes on, grab your phone and go around the block. You'll literally get 2 or 3 walks in a day that will maximize on the 10,000 steps or so that most people recommend, and myself also, that you could have just done pretty easily by just going out and putting your shoes on and walking while you're doing the phone calls, while you're doing the emails and the messages and stuff. Just really quickly, bang. Put your shoes on, go. Have a pair of shoes sitting there waiting by the door. Know a little routine or around the block that takes 10, 15 minutes. Just do that a few times a day. Get some fresh air and a little sunlight if it's sunny. Either way, good idea to get outside and do some kind of stuff like that. Get up, move around. People are spending all this money on standing desks and walking treadmills while they're working. It's like, dude, you're probably not working 8 hours straight non-stop, fingers on the keyboard. You can afford to pull out a decent little walk outside for 10, 15 minutes a couple of times a day, I'm sure. especially if as soon as you get a phone call, it's your wife, it's your dad, it's your mum, it's your son, it's your whatever. Oh, cool. You know, you've got at least 10, 15 minutes on this chat here. You can do that because you know them personally on a walk. Just grab your phone, bang, off you go. Be ready. Prepare yourself for this kind of stuff. It's part of the lifestyle. It's part of the routine. But anyway, I had a phone call, and then I phone call. I had a few other bits and pieces I had to send on and go on from there. And then I got myself caught up in a couple of messages and even editing a little bit of video that's chuck on my YouTube, on my Instagram. Just did it while walking, and that was about 30, 35 minutes or something like that on top of that 15, 20 minutes I just did in the reverse walking. So that's the cardio bits and pieces. Now, in saying that, I had planned to do something a little bit more strenuous today, but I'll probably just switch that up now. There's a couple of people in here doing the big heavy weight stuff on the machines that I wanted to use because I was going to do 100 reps of 3 exercises. So I was going to be sitting on that machine for quite some time, and the guys are actually using that. So what I'll do is I'll switch it up and stick to a bit more of a cardio-based workout, since I basically just did another 45 minutes of cardio prior. I'm going to stick to like a bit more of an intense, but not so intense workout where I'm just going to be repeating high reps. I'm going to do a bit of a matrix, bit of a pyramid. I'm going to start with 1 push-up and 1 pull-up. Then I'm going to do 2 push-ups with 1 pull-up, 3 push-ups with 1 pull-up, all the way up to 10 push-ups with 1 pull-up. Then I'm going to try and stick to the 10 push-ups, but go up in the pull-ups to 10 till I'm eventually doing 10 push-ups and then 10 pull-ups. Might seem a little confusing, but if you stick around, you'll find out. I'm going up 1 rep at a time in the push-up until I reach 10 with a burpee, with a pull-up in between. And then I'm doing the second half of that movement and going up 1 pull-up at a time while still doing the 10 push-ups in between. Till eventually I'm doing 10 push-ups with 10 pull-ups. Now, I may not be able to do those pull-ups all in a row near the end there. They'll get a little bit tough. But I'll be taking little breaks in between and reaching that number before I then go back down to do the push-ups that I need to do. Should be okay with doing the push-ups straight every time. It's not normally an issue, but maybe near the end there, the 10 pull-ups in a row with the 10 push-ups might become a little tougher, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know how much talking I'll be able to do through my breathlessness. I will be concentrating on breathing and staying sort of present in the moment and just focusing on what it is that I've got to do, 1 little mini set at a time. So if I've got a set of 10 or a set of 8 or a set of pull-ups, I'm just focusing on that and thinking about that only. I may also try and get some little extra added rest in by talking to you guys through here. So hopefully you can see everything. I've tried to set up the camera so you can see everything. It's not that necessary. I mean, you know what a pull-up looks like by now, and you know what a push-up looks like by now, especially if you've seen at least 1 or 2 of my videos. I may not have described the push-up in the technique that I use or the technique that I think is best for me, but it's pretty simple. Do a push-up the way that you best know how. If you don't, just drop a comment in the section below, and I will try and break down a push-up as far as how I think a push-up should be done, with obviously always a little bit of room for adjusting for you personally. So we'll start off. I'm gonna do one push-up, 1 pull-up, 2 push-ups, 1 pull-up, 3 push-ups, 1 pull-up, 4 push-ups, 1 pull-up, and so on until I reach 10 push-ups and a pull-up. Then I will have a small break there and then catch up from there. So whatever kind of workout you call that, that's what we're doing today. Everybody's a little different. Everybody thinks things are a little bit different, names things differently. So that is what I'm doing. Extremely highly salted water with a bit of glutamine and some, I think it's pineapple relight, electrolyte. That's about all I have set up for now. So yeah, we'll get started on that. I'm gonna use a little bit of a timer just to make sure I don't get too distracted. Right. One. Could do them as burpees, but I ain't doing that today. And 1.
4 and 1 and 1 and 5 6 and 1 7 8 oh 9 10 and 1. All right. So that was a little tougher than I thought. As far as the push-ups, they kind of crept in there at the sort of 7 to 8 mark. So it get a little tough. But otherwise, not too bad. I'll have a little rest, catch my breath, get a little water in. Nothing too crazy. Don't want to be drinking too much during, not necessarily cardiovascular, but the more moving workout. The body doesn't tend to like it too much. So yeah, so the second half will be 10 push-ups and then 2 pull-ups. Since I just did 10 push-ups with 1 pull-up, next one is 10 push-ups, 1 pull-up. Sorry, 2 pull-ups, adding that extra one. Then 10 push-ups and 3 pull-ups. That bit's gonna be tough. Yeah, that'll be tough. I'll probably be taking small breaks in between each set right from the start, as to not give myself, not to get myself into too much of an exhausted state from the beginning, and then having to battle through the rest. A good mental exercise, not quite what I'm trying to accomplish today. Did go work out in another gym the other day. Found that interesting. Completely different vibe. It is also school holidays here at the moment, so it's packed. Not packed out, but I had a lot of what looked like students. So be interesting. I might pop back in there. Not so sure I can record in there. We'll find out. Maybe one day, or might have to pull a video just using the iPhone instead of this camera system, and see if I can get away with it like that. It might be run a little differently, but You never know, might be able to get away with it. Until they tell me otherwise, I'll give it a shot. So stay tuned for that in the future. Until then, I'm gonna take a small drink and start off with this next section. Okay, so 10-2. Ten. And two. Small little break. That wasn't too bad. Push-ups have kind of relaxed a little bit, or the chest and the shoulders have sort of relaxed a little bit from the push-up before. So, yeah. We'll add a extra pull-up and go for 3. Okay. All right, so for those of you who don't know, Mike is a little devil on my shoulder, so to speak. He is my ego speaking to me, and also my nemesis and my villain. I call him my villain sometimes. He's the guy trying to kill me, pull me down, make me lazy, keep me basic and simple in a crowd of sheeple, following without purpose, blinded. I'm not a big fan of him, although I can't get rid of him because he's always there. Some people call it your inner darkness. The art of war. No, the war of art. Stephen Pressfield talks about this. Same kind of thing. I just call him Mike. And Mike has just told me that I should have gone down in push-ups, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, gone back down as I went up in pull-ups. Because he's feeling a little bit tired. But fuck Mike. So 10 and 4. Never have pull-ups felt like a break and the easier of the exercises in the history of working out for me until now. So the workout is much tougher doing the push-ups at this point than it is doing the pull-ups. They may reverse or they may equalize and balance each other out as the pull-ups get harder and as I get more of them. But the push-ups are starting to get up there in reps. You can figure out those numbers as you want. Whatever 1 up to 10 is, I think it's 55. And then 10 will actually be, 10 sets, it's 9 sets at 10. Another 90 on top of the 55. So 145. That's not so bad. Within the workout, closely knit with pull-ups in between. decent little chest pump. Good for the day. Not trying to do anything too crazy or too hard today. Some of you guys know through my Instagram that I work like 18 to 20 hour shifts with a night shift on Fridays and Saturdays. I don't wake up later. I wake up still roughly the same time as I normally do. I have changed my routine. Actually, I'll do the pull-ups. I'll do 10 and 5 and then tell you the little bit story after. Oh, 10. And 5. All right, so what I was gonna say, each timer is waste. What I was gonna say is that I have changed my sleep a little bit to make up for this little section and part of my life now, which is those night shifts on the weekends. By going to bed a little later, still giving myself the same amount of hours, roughly, between sort of 6 to 9, let's say 7, give or take. And then waking up a little bit later in order for that night shift to not feel so bad. If I was waking up at 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7, which is kind of what I normally wake up at based on the sunrise, then I'd be doing almost a 24-hour shift, 23-hour shift, Friday and Saturday night back to back. That'll probably throw my circadian rhythm out a little too much for my liking, and I do relate to those type of things, natural earthly type, spiritual realm, moon tides. Not so much astrology, although that's in there, but I don't know much about it. But I do relate to those things on a human level, always have. Call it the little hippie in me, probably from my mother, but the connection to earth and air, a lot of that kind of stuff. As much as I try and run away from it sometimes, it answers a lot of questions for me. So just keeping it real and raw. I've got to admit that about myself, and I got to stick to what works, and those things have always worked for me. So I'm sticking to them and not running away anymore. I'm trying to be the big, tough, hard, strong guy that I guess I look like in some manner to others. Just be myself. And I'm a little bit more of a spirituality, hippie-based person, especially when it comes to the health and health investing. So, off with the battery ran out, so just replace that. And back on for 10 and 6. And and then 6. Future of these videos is a little bit skew with as far as where I think I'm going with this thing. It's kind of started off as one thing and turned into something else, and now it's morphing into a multitude of other things, including the first thing. And what I'm realizing is that there's actually quite a lot of benefit to whatever this is. I call it sharing. It depends what you want, how you want to see it and what you want to think about it, but the therapeutical based improvements from just being able to share and out loud and talk. I know I'm just staring into a camera, but I've met a few people that have watched these videos, and obviously I know some of them who do too, clearly family and friends. And it feels like, although I'm not really seeing them or seeing you, it does feel like I'm talking to you, which is kind of cool. A lot of my friends and family are not in this place where I'm at, in this city or in this state, or majority even not in this country. So it's a fun way to little connection and keep you guys sort of up to date on where I'm at, what I'm doing. And you'll realize that I just ramble and bamble on a whole bunch of stuff, as I always have. And here we are, talking rubbish while we exercise together. Hopefully, this motivates you guys to think a little different, include different little scenarios and bits and pieces that I talk about into your everyday thinking, breaking down problems you might be having, but also the overall big picture of sharing ideas, thoughts, workouts, who you are, why you do what you do, some intricate little details like Mike, always giving me shit. So yeah, this is where I'm sort of sticking with this. A bit more of a let you guys in on some of the stuff that I do, but at the same time, it's good to unload and let out some of these things. Hope you pick up on some of that and you have yourself a little bit of an outlet of this stuff. So I believe it's 10 and 7. All right, three sets to go. Not feeling too bad. The pump from the push-ups is catching on. Definitely doing what it's supposed to be doing. And 10 push-ups are a little tougher than they look. The pull-ups, not bad. The pull-ups are good. I've always been relatively okay at pull-ups. As far as, not like maximum huge high numbers, but being able to pull out pull-ups, decent numbers, around that 10 mark. When I push myself, I can pull out probably around 20, give or take 1 or 2, but I've never really done more than that. I did do one time, but this was strapped with kipping, which is the pull-up version in CrossFit. So some people wouldn't consider that to be a proper pull-up. It is a pull-up in that sport. I think I pulled out a 66 in that one a while back when I was 10 years younger and at least 10 kilos lighter. But as I said, kipping creates momentum, and hand strap, which is a big help because the grip is usually the first thing that goes for me, because I do weigh over 100 kilos, over 220, 25 to 230 pounds. So it's a little bit tougher, but no excuses. It is what it is. So, all right. As you see, I'm pulling my hands up. It's not just to hold it myself, trying to get rid of the blood that's in my arms, in my hands, in my arms and shoulders, by kind of putting them up. And the reason for that is the blood is all the way over here at the moment. The blood's trying to help out the problem in the situation and seeing with the shoulders doing all the work in the pull-ups. So I'm just kind of getting rid of some of the blood so I don't feel the pump too much at the bottom of the push-up, because I'm actually draining some of the blood, so to speak. Whether that's true or not, it actually feels like it. So for me, it's a truth to me, it's a truth for me, and it already feels lighter right now. So Cool, whatever that is, sensation, I like it. That tends to help, tends to work a little bit, at the very least, if not psychologically, physically, or both. All right, looking for 8. So recently, I listened to a guy, has a podcast called Your World Within. His name is Eddie Pinero. And this guy's been probably consistently in the last 5 years, him and another guy called Michael Johnson have been the most consistent people in my life. They're not even in my life, they're not even aware. Michael might be a little bit aware because he's a friend of mine and we do sort of speak on social media a little bit, but he might be aware that he's in my life, so to speak, at the very least, through technology on apps in my ear. And if it's not for him, Michael, Eddie, and Wes, I don't know if I'd be doing all the stuff that I'm doing right now. Those 3 have been extremely helpful, influential, and serving for me. I resonate with what they say. I don't care how they say it. I had zero interest in how they live their lives as far as it being a reason to not listen to what they say. I admire them all. I admire the lives they live. And I've reached out to all 3 of them at some point through social media, and they've reached out back. I haven't bothered them. Okay, maybe even bothered Michael a little bit. Sorry, Mojo. But it's because I have a history with him as far as personal history with him, being friends. About 15 years. 13, 14, 15 years or so. Time flies. Sorry, bro, I'm not sure exactly what time or when, but it's been a while. And those guys, they motivate me to set goals, they motivate me to look at life differently, and they motivate me to get the fuck up and get shit done. In those 3 are those 3 guys, Michael, Eddie, and Wes. Set goals, have a lifestyle plan. Look at life differently. Set yourself up in a way where you're looking at yourself through the 3rd, the 4th, or the 5th person. And then just get up and get it done no matter what. These are the 3 guys who do those things for me. I highly encourage you guys to find people for you that do that. It is extremely helpful. There is absolutely no reason not to. Everything is out there on the internet for you to use. I'm a big proponent of using what's out there for free. You don't have to pay so much for the very most basic and foundational stuff. We're paying for coaching, mentoring programs, and courses, especially from these 3 guys I just mentioned. I highly recommend. You have my personal stamp of approval and guarantee that they are legit people and about what they say they're about. I have zero doubts that these 3 guys are just bullshitting. They are serving, they are helping, and they truly mean it. Their intentions are pure, their hearts are kind and in a really good place, despite their appearances, the words they use, and some of the lifestyle choices they make. Couldn't give a flying fuck. It is all up to them. I shall not judge, as I shall be humble in the fact that I've done way worse. I'd be a hypocrite to not be, at least in good faith, a good servant and a good obedient mind of the message that they share. But anyway, too much blah, blah, blah. Again, I go off on these tangents. This is the part where I talk about therapy. This is incredible. I appreciate you guys sticking by. You can 100% mute this if you like. Just follow the bullshit, the workouts, leave the bullshit out. Let the videos fall. Let the videos fall under those repeated workouts or videos that you guys watch about working out on mute. Let them play, repeat themselves, play the playlist or stuff. I appreciate all that just to get all the bits and pieces going for the channel so I can do more in more places. This would be the best part, to travel around and do these bits and pieces in other gym tips and collabs with other people that you guys might want to see me talk to, break down maybe some workouts, some tips and tricks. I'd love to be able to get into a situation where I'm with someone, collaborating with them and sharing my version of what I understand to be true with their version of what I understand to be true, and see which and how much of it works together and how much of it is completely opposite. But hey, if it works for them and it works for me, then they work, right? So this is a bit more the idea, the dream, and that'd be great to be able to do that. So I'll let you guys mute me while I do actually the push-ups first. So 10 and 9.
Well, so the reason I was bringing that topic up and then got completely off topic was Eddie, Your World Within podcast. Yeah, he refers to this part where he talks about, I think it's a quote from someone else. I don't want to say that it's him making this up, but he talks about it in some of his podcasts and it really resonates with me. But it's about a bunch of lily pads on a pond and how every single day the lily pads on the pond double from the day before for 30 days. You can pick a number, whatever you want in that 50, 100, million, whatever you, but essentially every day the lily pads double. And it talks about the work is not all seen at the time, but gradually increments. And the point it makes is that if on day 30, the pond is full with, let's say 100 lily pads, at what day was the pond half full? Our brains will think half of 100 would be 50, so we'll have 50 lily pads on day 15, which would be the halfway point of 30, but the answer is no, it had half the day before, on day 29, because it doubles every day. And workouts are like that. The workout I put in today is going to help me with the workout tomorrow and next week and next month. The only time that doesn't work out or help out is if I have two bigger breaks or days off. Days off happen. Shit happens in life. But the days where I don't go when I know I should have or I could have, those are the days that end up bringing those lily pads, so to speak, in this example, back down. So if it doesn't double, then it halves. That's my section. Doesn't mean every single day. So we don't work out every single day. Even I'm working 4, maybe 5 days a week max. But that's the consistency in the weeks. My program is 4 to 5 workouts per week. Then each week is consisted of one lily pad. Not each day, but each week. Because there are days off in between there. So therefore, although these days it's been a bit more like 6 or 7 workouts a week. But that's a different workout. I mean, that's a different video. I'll talk about that in the next one. But technically speaking, if you look at the bigger picture, zoom out a little bit and be aware that the big workouts lead to the next workouts, which become bigger because of that workout. In the moment, it sucks. I'm not exactly loving this. I'm enjoying the sharing and the breaks in between talking to you guys, but the workout itself is not the best. So I'm going to go 10 and 10 just to finish it off and get the hell out of here.
Oh. All right, 10 and 10. Fun, but done. Not much I can say here. This was fun, actually. It would have been a little bit more cardio based if I'd taken slightly smaller breaks in between, obviously. But having done this 45 minutes of cardio prior and having the mindset and the pre-planned workout coming in here to be a bit more of a heavy weight session, this has actually kind of worked out okay. I'm definitely feeling as I should in the upper body as I would with, say, heavier weights session. Just maybe not quite as exhausted on a muscular level, so that might actually work out okay. Might actually be able to lift my arms up and do things for the rest of the day. Which I don't really have much to do as far as lifting big heavy things for the rest of the day, because I had planned on doing a heavy workout. But might work out okay in the end. Just draining some of this blood, feeling a little bit in my arms. Well, I appreciate you guys being here with me. If you are listening to these, then I am grateful and extremely appreciative for you taking the time out to listen to me ramble on and unload on you guys. I'm sure my mind will calm down at some point and I won't have that much to talk about eventually. So let's see. But yeah, still extremely appreciative for your time, and hope you guys are getting some value out of this and you're getting some sort of equal exchange for your time out of maybe some of the things that I talk about, maybe some of the ideas I mentioned, and hopefully some of the workouts that I do, the way that I program things, how I work things out in my head, the workout and the workout. I'm trying to connect health, head and heart as much as I can with everything. And yeah, I'm hoping it resonates with some of you guys. Appreciate you guys' time, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Again, like, subscribe, share, comment, please. Feedback, I love it. Good, bad, and different. It's all good. I want to improve. I want to try and make something that's valuable for you guys as well as for me. And so if there's anything you guys want to see more of or less of, or topics or specific things you want me to break down, happy to do those things. If it's something that I do, something that I can share, and something I'll resonate with, then I'll happily put that in the video series and do something specifically for you. So thank you very much for your time again. I need to eat. It is 2:15 in the afternoon and I have not eaten yet. I do these workouts often fasted, not because I like fasted exercises or fasted cardio. I just haven't eaten today. Or quickly. No, I'll do that on the next one. We'll talk about my diet regime and how I eat, what I eat, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, cliffhanger, huh? I'll let you guys hang out until the next video where I talk a bit about how I work out, how I eat for those workouts based on my experiences with diets, diet plans, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, peace.